development of this industry is the passage of something that will level the playing field between petroleum-based transportation system and an electrical-based transportation system. It is not a fair deal right now. The electrical folks are behind the 8 ball because we give enormous subsidies to the oil and gas-based transportation system, both in our tax code, which we're trying to repeal and shift the tax benefits over electrification from oil. We fell one vote short in the U.S. Senate from breaking a filibuster on that. But the biggest subsidy is the subsidy that we give the oil and gas companies to allow them to treat the atmosphere as their personal garbage dump. We do not allow people to dump their garbage in the municipal garbage dump for free. We would never allow an oil company to take their slag from their refinery, put it in a garbage truck, back it up to the city park, and dump it in the city park for free in unlimited amounts. But that is exactly what we do with their most dangerous pollutant, their most dangerous garbage, which is carbon dioxide today. And the moment we pass a cap and trade system in America, the moment that we put a cap on the amount of carbon dioxide that goes into the air, the moment we put a price on carbon, you will see a rush of financial capital into the electrification of the transportation system that will dwarf what we've even seen now, which is a significant amount. So I would suggest to us that next year, in 2009, the single most important issue in the United States, other than withdrawing from Iraq, in my view, is passage of a cap-and-trade system that will level the playing field for the real innovators, many of whom are in this room, to get this job done. And I want to point out the thing that will be most contentious in passing that, and that is whether we're going to give these permits away to these polluters or whether they're going to need to pay for it. And I'm coming out to say that the polluters should pay for this, not the public. The polluters need to pay both to create a price on carbon and to create a revenue stream to be used for research and development and help for Americans through the transition we're experiencing it. I mention this because you will have a part to play in that debate. And I hope that you will be active in that debate, because I can tell you it is the key to unlock the lock of the financial wherewithal we need to get this industry up to speed at 100 miles an hour. So that's my request to you. That's kind of a report on a couple things. I hope that I could stand for questions. We have right time for questions, Dave? Take a couple questions. Somebody with a softball question here. Yeah.
My name is David Roper, Virginia Tech. You speaking of the electric superhighway, when will Congress initiate an interstate electric railway project similar to the Eisenhower Highway Interstate project?
Well, I've declined to serve as president this year. I'm supporting Barack Obama, so it'll be some time. No, it's the very serious issue, and I've introduced a bill. It's called the Rural Electrical. I can't remember if we're calling it the superhighway or not, but that's what we intend to mean by it. That basically will create a pool of funds to finance the creation of high-capacity, ultimately DC grids to move renewable energy to the portals for the electrical transportation system. And what this bill will do will basically spread the cost of the creation of these lines nationwide so that those who build those lines can basically spread the costs across the United States. If you expect the first entity to buy that electricity to pay for the entire cost, it just doesn't get built. And I believe this is an absolutely critical part. My bill is not the last piece of unlocking that puzzle, but it is the first piece. I hope this year, I talked to Chairman Boucher about this 2 days ago, we hope this year, I hope this year to get a bill at least starting a study by DOE to identify what is really necessary to make that happen. Next year to pass my bill or something very close to my bill. So the answer is, I hope that by fall 2009, we will have in law a provision to create a financial mechanism to fund the creation of this electric superhighway. It'll be none too soon. And I hope you can help me out. Thank you. Yeah.
Hello, Jonathan Feldman, Stockholm University. Senator Obama has talked about taking the savings from the Iraq War and putting it into alternative energy and alternative transportation modes. And during the last energy crisis, President Carter tried to facilitate a system to take the savings from the peace dividend after the Vietnam War, these industrial resources, and promote mass transportation and all kinds of alternatives. What can we do to help the industrial veterans of America who've gotten behind this Iraq war? We don't expect to be spending billions every day in the future. How can we make this transition and support conversion to get these resources that you spoke so eloquently about into these alternatives through conversion of defense firms and things like that?
Well, first off, that conversion has tremendous potential. And I am very excited about Senator Obama's commitment to this cause, and I believe he is committed to this heart and soul. And he has a wonderful energy plan. You can check it out on his site. It's very comprehensive. And I'm excited to hear what he says in his inaugural address about this subject. I will say this, however. Unfortunately, there is no real peace dividend, because all of the money we spent in Iraq was borrowed from China. Okay? Every single dollar under this administration's policy has all been deficit spending. This is the first war in America's history where we didn't raise taxes to fund the war. This president decided to fund the war just by borrowing money from China. I think that was a huge mistake. He did it because it was easy, but it was extremely bad economic policy, and it was not fitting for the dedication of the American people when he did not ask the American people to be engaged in the financial aspects of this war. So because it was all deficit spending, it's not like we have a big pile of cash that we can just take from Baghdad and transfer here, because all that cash has got to get paid back to China. Excuse me. So I think to finance this, we are going to have to look at some revenue source to finance the huge needs for R&D, to finance the loan guarantees and some of the things we need to do. That's where the auction I told you about is important. That's why having an auction of the permits for CO2 pollution in the cap and trade system is absolutely necessary, because that auction, if we do auction that, we'll create a pool of money in the hundreds of, somewhere between $40 and $100 billion a year that can be used to finance that transition. And that's why I'm saying your engagement, in this community's engagement in the cap and trade debate, is absolutely pivotal to make sure that we auction those off and we have a revenue to really make that transition. And the Senator Obama, I know, supports that effort, and that's one of the reasons I'm excited. Thanks a million. I'll see you at this forum. Thank you.